Hello everyone, Mike here. Do you ever find yourself getting stuck in the same position on the fretboard when you're playing over major key backing tracks? As in, do you get stuck with just a few notes, a few positions, and feel that you can't really play fluently over tracks that are in a major key? If so, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you how to quickly break free from that limitation using a simple method that connects everything together. I know from my own experience that coming up as a guitarist and learning the ropes, the major scale always seemed a bit counterintuitive. It didn't seem like a very easy one to learn or memorise, whereas we're always introduced to the minor pentatonic very early on when we're learning, and it's very easy to learn the minor scale from there, so it comes much more naturally, I think. And sometimes it can just seem like a chore to learn an entire new scale from there. Eventually I did figure out through trial and error some very simple systems that can help you break out of just some very limited positions on the fretboard and actually start playing fluently in a major key. This technique I'm going to show you that helped me do that. It utilises modal theory, and when I say theory I mean I'm keeping it very light because I don't know much theory jargon, it's not really my thing, but I have taken the time to recognise the patterns and understand how they work. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to use a backing track that is in G major. This one was just recently released on the channel, so you can go and have a look at that after this and maybe have a practice, try out some of these concepts. So first what we'll do is we'll look at the main position of the G major scale. If you know this shape, you can get quite far with it. You can start playing in the major key and that's great. But what I'm going to show you now is a bit of light theory, a bit of light modal theory. Don't worry, we're not going to go crazy here. I'm going to show you how you can use a relative mode of G major to very quickly expand and build upon this framework and suddenly find yourself playing much more fluently and across the wider fretboard. So the idea is, when you're playing in G major, you're actually playing in several different keys at once. And what I mean by that is each key has a relative key which contains the same notes. So for instance, G major shares all the same notes as E minor. And if you dabble in songwriting at all, this won't surprise you because the E minor and the G chord are in the same key, and you often hear a lot of chord progressions which utilise how well they go together. So now knowing that, if you take the E minor scale, which is shown here, and you then connect the first scale position I just showed you, the G major, all those notes, they're all in G major. That, if you play the E minor scale, you're in G major as well. So hopefully very quickly you can see how suddenly you can go from knowing one very limited position to all of a sudden, I can play all over the fretboard all of a sudden. That also means that the E minor pentatonic, which almost every guitarist is going to be introduced to at some point, the E minor pentatonic scale, the most basic scale you can get, that is also in G major. And what this means is, when you are introduced to a scale for the first time, a new scale, like maybe one that you're not quite familiar with, they all have these relative keys going on, and you can utilise that to your advantage, and you can use what you're already familiar with as an anchor point for learning the rest. So just in case you were in any doubt about this, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a quick demonstration solo, demonstrating this in action, and sort of point out where I'm utilising the minor pentatonic or the minor scale, the E minor scale. that's about all for this one. Short and sweet. As I said, if you want to go and try this out over the backing track, I'll leave a link in the description or the comments. If you are interested in exclusive content, backing tracks with alt mixes and stems that you can download and use in your own productions, or if you just want to show your support, feel free to head over to my Patreon. There'll be a link to that in the comments and description as well. And that's about all for this one. Cheers, see you later.